Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the Bitcoin price is trading at a very important level. So definitely pay attention to this, because in just a moment, I'll be getting into the exact reasons why this level is very important. And also in just a moment, I'll be covering my next Bitcoin price targets, my Bitcoin strategy right now. And on top of that, I'll be revealing a massive buy wall to the downside that's forming in the order books right now. And also the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index pumping back into the neutral zone. So definitely make sure you're sticking around all the way to the end of this video so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, make sure to drop a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this. As always, I appreciate every single one of you that are watching these videos, and especially for those of you that are clicking those like and subscribe buttons down below. But anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the daily time frame. And as you can see here, this is actually the VPVR indicator, which is the volume profile for the visible range. So of course, all of this price action that I've got on the screen right now, that is the visible range, and the volume profile is basically how much volume was traded at a certain price range. So this is slightly different to the regular volume that we have here at the bottom of the chart, because of course, the regular volume shows us how much volume is traded within a certain time period. So they're somewhat similar in a way, but rather than looking at the time period, we're looking at the price area on the chart. And you can clearly see out of all of this visible price action, the most amount of volume traded on the Bitcoin chart right now is sitting at this level just here, which is at around $47,500 US. And the very top of this volume spike just here is coming in at around 48,000. And that's actually where Bitcoin is currently sitting at least at the time of filming this video. So what does this actually mean for Bitcoin? Well, usually when we have a lot of traded volume at a particular price level or a price range, when all of that volume is below the current Bitcoin price, that acts as support. But when it's above the Bitcoin price, that usually acts as resistance. And right now, the Bitcoin price, as I just mentioned, is trading near the top of all of this volume just here. So we are potentially on the cusp of another breakout to the upside, because you can clearly see after we start getting above all of this volume level just here, as in really above 48 to 49,000 US, the volume traded within this price range just here drastically drops off to the downside all the way up to this high just here. So pretty much if we start breaking above 49,000, maybe 50,000 US is one of the main levels I'd love to see Bitcoin break above before we can think about the next bullish move. Because of course, if we can break above that range just there, then it's pretty much clear skies ahead of us, at least until we zoom out a little bit further on the chart. By zooming out on the chart, of course, we're expanding the visible range, which is providing more data for this volume profile per visible range. And you can still see this spike in volume that we're currently testing right now. But once we finally break above this range just here, once again at around 50,000 US, is really the main level I would love to see Bitcoin get above. According to the VPVR indicator, the next major level of volume is coming in at around $56,000 US. So 56,000 is the middle of this volume spike just here. That's what this red line is. But the bottom of the volume spike, where we initially start running into the resistance, is coming in at more like 55,000. So if we can see a strong break above 50,000 US, getting above the golden pocket, and especially if we can flip it into support, that would be amazing to see. Obviously, we could find a bit of short-term resistance at this local top just here at around 53,000, because we have already confirmed that as a point of resistance with the actual rejection that we saw back there a couple weeks ago. But above the $53,000 high, the next major price target to the upside, if we can break above these initial resistance levels first, of course, is once again coming in at around 55 to 56,000 US. So this is definitely something that I am paying attention to moving forward for potential price targets to the upside. And another reason why this is a very important level to pay attention to on the Bitcoin chart is of course the fact that this is the golden pocket. When we're bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool from this high at around 53,000 down to this low at around 39,500 US, we've got the golden pocket coming in at approximately 48,000 US. Of course, the golden pocket is a range between the 61.8% Fibonacci level and the 65% level. So looking at those price levels, it's a range between 47.8K all the way up towards around 48.3K approximately. But if you've been watching all of my recent Bitcoin update videos, even while we were all the way back down here, I was basically saying that the main point of resistance to pay attention to is of course 48,000. And that's what we are finding resistance along currently as expected. But Bitcoin's very next move is potentially going to be a deciding moment in the market. market. And so right now, whether or not Bitcoin breaks through this level or gets a rejection here, that will determine whether or not Bitcoin is looking bullish or bearish in the shorter term. So what I mean by the shorter term is over the next couple of days, maybe over the next 1 week, that sort of time frame. At this stage, I am leaning more bullish considering the fact that we were just in extreme fear and we have already experienced a lot of bearish price action and we're only just starting to break out of that bearish trend. But it has to be said that while we're still below the golden pocket, there is still risk of downside price action. So keep that in mind. I've been letting you guys know about that time and time again on the channel. For example, back here, bringing out that Fibonacci retracement level from the $53,000 high, but down to the bottom of this wick low at around 42,500 US dollars. We came into contact with almost the exact golden pocket. And the fact that we could not break above the golden pocket, we were in for a bit more bearish price action coming next. When we're zooming all the way out on the daily time frame again, bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool from the all-time high at around 64,000 US dollars down to this low at around 29,000 US dollars. What we can see here is, of course, the Bitcoin price on this huge bounce to the upside from July leading into the beginning of September. We ran perfectly into the exact golden pocket before we saw a major rejection and a lot of bearish price action. So it was because of the fact that we could not get above that golden pocket that we did end up experiencing this bearish price action. Obviously, if at that stage just there, we saw a major break above the golden pocket, it's very likely that in that scenario, we would have just continued to head higher and higher and then have the next correction later on. And now looking on a time where we did actually break above the golden pocket to see what we can look out for. Just here on the 4-hour time frame, going back a little bit earlier on the chart during around July. And if we're actually bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool from this high during the middle of June at around 41,000 US dollars down to this next major low at around 29,000 US dollars, what we can see here is, of course, this next major push to the upside broke above the golden pocket. We saw a nice break above the golden pocket. And something else to take away here is also back then on the 27th of July, the Bitcoin price came back down to retest the golden pocket and confirm it as support. The fact that we flipped this potential resistance point into support, that was extremely bullish for the Bitcoin price. And that set up Bitcoin for a major move to the upside over the next 1 month approximately. So that's why I'm saying that right now, just in the shorter term at least, this is a deciding moment for Bitcoin, because obviously, as I just showed you, if we see a rejection, we could be looking a little bit more bearish, perhaps over the next few days, maybe over the next week or so. Obviously, it's very hard to tell the exact time frame, but if we see a break above the golden pocket, then that is when we can expect some of those higher price targets coming into play. And by the way, speaking about that previous time just back here during July, where we actually broke above the golden pocket, this price action that we saw back then is actually looking somewhat similar to the price action that we're forming right now, mainly paying attention to the market sentiment and this bullish move above the 50-day EMA. First of all, at this $29,000 low, the market was in extreme fear. At that stage, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index was plummeting into extreme fear and everyone was absolutely panicking in the market. And we saw a lot of capitulation happening, people just panic selling their Bitcoin. And so, of course, those are all of the signs of a market bottom, as we've just experienced in the Bitcoin market. And then you can see here that we saw an upwards movement in the Bitcoin price, a little bit of some sort of consolidation before a break above the 50-day EMA. And that break above the 50-day EMA was a very sharp break to the upside, a very strong move to the upside. And looking at the current Bitcoin price, obviously just a few days ago, we were sitting in extreme fear according to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. And then we had this slight move to the upside leading into the 50-day EMA, a little bit of a consolidation range before the break of this 50-day EMA, and then a very sharp movement above the 50-day EMA, a very strong bullish movement, just like what we saw back in July. And something else to note here is the trend in the 50-day EMA. Obviously, while we were looking bearish throughout the second half of May and going into June and July, the 50-day EMA in that case was actually trending to the downside. But the moment we started breaking back above it and the 50-day EMA started trending to the upside, that's when the Bitcoin price stayed bullish for quite some time. And if you're looking at what's happening right now to the 50-day EMA, we're actually starting to trend back to the upside in the immediate short term. So of course, if the current Bitcoin price even just stays at these levels, or especially if we see a breakout, then that's going to pull the 50-day EMA further to the upside, which will help back up this uptrend that we are potentially starting. Pretty much the only things that we need to see to confirm this uptrend now is a break above the golden pocket and a higher low form on the chart. And in regards to a potential higher low, what's great to see in the Bitcoin order books right now is a huge buy wall sitting at around 44.7k. So for the complete beginners out there, what does this actually mean? Well, it means that a lot of people are basically wanting to buy Bitcoin at around 44,700 US dollars per Bitcoin. So if the Bitcoin price actually retraces down to that price level, this is going to act as support for the Bitcoin price, because the Bitcoin price cannot go below 44.7k until there's enough people wanting to sell Bitcoin to all of the people wanting to buy Bitcoin at these levels. So to completely summarize, basically we've got a lot of support at around 44.7k, and looking on the Bitcoin chart at where that actually is, that is pretty much the exact 50-day EMA. The 50-day EMA is actually coming in at around 44.9k, so just above that huge buy wall. So we've got a huge amount of support right here on the chart. So really starting at around 45,000 US dollars is where the support is kicking in. And for as long as Bitcoin is holding above that sort of range just there, then we're still looking really good here. So that's right, we could see a major rejection along the golden pocket. And just as long as we see a bounce at this price range just here, we're still setting up this uptrend. In the situation that we're in right now, things will only flip bearish again for Bitcoin if we break below all of this important support, which by the way, the bottom line of this support is really sitting closer towards 44,000 US dollars. So if we see a strong break below 44k, then obviously at that stage, that would be a bit more of a bearish sign. But right now, obviously we're not seeing that. We are looking a little bit more bullish than we are bearish. We're just simply waiting on a break above that golden pocket to flip even more bullish. And quickly looking at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index right now, we've actually flipped into the neutral range. And this is great to see, because obviously when we're looking neutral, we're not overextended in either direction. So we're not looking overly bullish or overly bearish. For the new viewers on the channel, when this indicator plunges into extreme fear, usually that is an amazing buying opportunity. And I've said time and time again here on the channel that I buy the most amount of Bitcoin when we're sitting at those extreme fear levels, because usually when we're sitting at extreme fear, that comes in pretty close to where the price is bottoming out and getting ready for a bullish move. And I've never gone back on that strategy. Even when we were looking extremely bearish during June and July down at 29,000 US dollars per Bitcoin, I was constantly letting you guys know that I'm buying a lot of Bitcoin at those levels due to the fact that we were sitting in extreme fear. And then obviously leading in towards the beginning of September, when the Bitcoin price was just above 50,000 US dollars, we were actually seeing extreme greed for a few days there. And that was actually a warning signal that I was giving you guys at that stage, saying that we're at risk of bearish price action sometime soon. And of course, we saw that bearish price action throughout September. And then it was a few days ago that we were sitting in extreme fear again. And I let you guys know that's an amazing buying opportunity. So now it's just important that we don't flip into the greed and extreme greed too quickly. That's why retracements along the way, pullbacks along the uptrend, are very important for Bitcoin, because if we don't see any sort of pullbacks and we just continuously go to the upside, then we're going to hit those extreme greed levels a lot faster than if we have some pullbacks along the way. And as I just said earlier, when we're sitting at extreme greed, that's when we're usually at the highest risk of bearish price action. So the healthiest thing for Bitcoin to do right now is, of course, have some short-term pullbacks along the uptrend. And by the way, I actually share some of the information that I talk about in these videos hours ahead of these videos in real-time updates over on my Twitter. And of course, all of this is completely for free. So if you want to stay up to date in the markets at all times, make sure you're following me over on my Twitter, and the link to my Twitter is in the description down below. And I'll just quickly mention that there's actually some scammers out there trying to copy my Twitter profile. So just know that I will never approach you with some sort of trading opportunity. I'll never privately message you. I currently do not have a Telegram or a WhatsApp or anything like that. My only two social medias that I have right now are this YouTube channel and this Twitter account that's linked down below with around 28.7k. Any other social media account that you see that looks like it's mine, but it's not this YouTube channel or that Twitter account, is simply a scammer pretending to be me, trying to take your money. So beware of the scams at the moment. And also in the YouTube comment section down below, there are a lot of scams out there. Unfortunately, I try and delete and report all of their accounts as I see them, but they're always coming in. So it's just important for you guys to be aware of the scams as well. And if you enjoyed this video or got something valuable out of the video, make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more videos just like this one. It only takes a couple seconds out of your day to click that subscribe button down below, and you're going to be getting all of these important updates every day here on the channel completely for free. So I don't see why not. And considering that right now we're only just beginning a potential uptrend, there's really never been a better time to share these videos around with your friends, to get your friends involved in this amazing opportunity that we're seeing right now. But anyway, that's really everything I have to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.